Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. It is a cold Monday morning on the East Coast. What's going on out in the West?
Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Niele Anderson, and it's a little chilly out here too, Stacy, on the West Coast. So I think it's beginning to look a lot like the holiday season. And of course, we have your holiday headlines for you this morning.
Yeah, we got lots of going on, to
Some of
say the
them not
least.
so jolly, and
Not
some
so,
of them, talkers, and some of them are just, of course, the Trump clan admin are at their antics, as
uh,
always.
of course. Well, let's see what our producer has for us this morning.
You remember? Come on. Hello. How are you?
We're just in the same class as 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Washington.
So I'm supposed to remember you because
you Naeem.
Okay. Can I tell y'all that this man just said, "Do you remember me?" I said, make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Pasadena, Jamar, me, you, Naeem, and Sharice.
That part, He's being serious though. Are you being serious? Yeah. I do not. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade.
We were in the same class.
Okay.
Me, you, and
well,
Naeem.
It's nice to meet you.
Yo.
Week, I broke the all-time record for the largest bottle signing in Georgia history. The bottle was by far our highest price point ever in a year when the spirits market is trading down. Every location we released it at, including DC and Maryland, sold out within an hour. That should have been the story. Instead, the headline became 60 seconds at the start of the night. Before I say anything else, I want to be clear. That moment is mine. I own it. I apologized immediately, and there are parts of it I would handle differently today. Accountability doesn't require perfection. It requires ownership, and I've taken it. So now let me walk you through that moment. As I stepped out of the car, I was stopped several times for photos. After 4 or 5, I let people know I got to get inside. There are hundreds waiting for me. When I turned, a man I didn't know was standing directly in my path, inches from my face, no smile, no greeting, just a blank stare. He asked if I knew him from school more than 35 years ago. He mentioned a middle school and 2 other people. I went to 3 different schools between the 6th and the 9th grade and graduated from a different one entirely. So I was startled. So was everyone around me. Security was close, but I've always asked them to stand back unless I believe I'm in danger. I like to speak to everyone, hug everyone, make people feel seen. So instead of calling security, I tried to move us out of that moment I couldn't fully read, and I did that with a joke. In hindsight, I would have handled that moment completely differently. The joke wasn't meant to embarrass him. It was meant to diffuse uncertainty. I apologized publicly and immediately and asked for his contact information so I could apologize directly. Friends who were with him said he wasn't embarrassed and actually laughed afterward. The video was first posted by a woman who was in close proximity to the exchange with a positive message about how I handled it, how I stayed more than 4 hours, signing every bottle, taking every picture, spending time with every person who came. Then verified accounts commented. Then online blogs picked it up. And that's when the switch flipped. Within minutes, my comments were flooded, thousands of them, not disagreement, coordination. I was on a plane when I saw one comment that read, "You better get off these comments, turn them off because we're coming for you." I stayed up all Friday night, not so much as a nap. By the time I arrived at Chats in DC for that bottle signing, I'd been awake for 34 hours. One of the reasons they call me the People CEO is because I respond to every DM and every comment. I always have. So I started clicking profiles. There were numerous accounts calling for me to be canceled or boycotted. The majority had no posts or only a handful, none of them personal. Most were private. Almost all were following more people than followed them. They didn't look organic to me. It looked coordinated. And to be clear, I know some real people disagreed with me. That's fair. Thousands of real people also commented, sharing years of positive interactions with me. But you didn't see those comments, not because they weren't there, but because they resolved the tension. The resolution doesn't trend. Over the last 24 hours, I've had people reaching out with encouragement and support, and I appreciate it. But y'all, I've been good. Not because I didn't feel the weight of the moment, but because I understand something that's easy to miss online. What I'm about to explain doesn't erase my mistake. It explains what happened after and why I'm sharing it now. This is Nightcap with Fawn Weaver, where I strip away the drama and the politics, add truth, history, and a little bit of hope, served straight up, no chaser. When people hear the word bots, they think of it.
Well, a couple things with that. I know Neil and I see her as totally different, but that's okay. But I will say this. When I initially saw the video, I was like, you know what? This heifer. I was like ready to go in on her. And then I saw the entire context, and it wasn't as bad as it first seemed. But to sit there and say, you know, she's taking shots while she's trying to say she apologized. She's taking shots at people. Oh, you don't have that many followers, et cetera, et cetera. And the idea, you 49 years old, you can't remember. You might not remember him personally, but you can't appreciate in any way your sixth, seventh, and eighth grade classes. You don't remember anybody. I'm 10 years older than you almost. I can remember my first grade class. I can remember just about every single name in that class. And if I came across somebody from my sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, especially sixth grade, I would certainly have a clue. But she was right in the sense that she was in a rush, and she kept saying she had to get inside. If you watch the entire video, from the moment she got out of the car, she kept saying she had to get inside. But to do that to that man, it seemed like it wasn't. It seemed more than what it really turned out to be. But I think her apology right there, or her rampage, or whatever you want to call it, right there, her dialogue right there, I think that's over the top. But that's me.
I mean, she just should have left it at, you know, she takes accountability. She just was going back and forth. And, you know, we're in the age of social media. People are losing it. And that was like a lose it moment for her. And it's like people are responding. You don't know if you're going to get canceled, you know, and so that just looked like she didn't know which way to go in that video.
Yeah, and I think Andrea's saying people are making way too big deal of it. I think she didn't help it. I think she and listen, there are people who don't mind going viral for negative things. So, and this is something that she probably doesn't. Her business has taken some hits in recent months, publicly and financially. Um, and so this is not that bad of a thing for her. It wasn't as bad as it seemed. I'll just say that once I saw the full thing in context, it wasn't as bad as it seemed. I will say that much.
I mean, it was just a moment, and it happens sometimes, you know, moments like that happen. You know, she might not have remembered the guy. I know some of the footage before, just her facial expressions when she was even dealing with the city officials was kind of
Mhm.
like she had like some side eyes about that. Like, come on, take these pictures. And you could tell that her mood was, I have to do this appearance. I need to get in here. I don't have time for small talk. That was her
Mhm.
mode from the city official to him. And
Mhm.
sometimes that does happen, you know, like
Right.
she's doing these promotional you know, visits and these pop-ups all,
Right.
so it's like it's just emotion for her. And so, you know, it was just one of those moments that got caught on camera. And she should have just left it at the beginning of her speech when she says she takes accountability and move on. But to go back and forth, you're giving these social media people an opportunity to clip it and take what they want and start the ball of viral discussion to happen again.
Yeah, Dr. Nicole says, just to be fair, the followers comment she made was not to take shots. It was to identify possible fake accounts. But overall, she did the most in the apology. Yeah, and that's when you lose people, when you do the most in an apology. You know, you always, one of the worst apologies, and you keep hearing it too. And it mostly come from public officials and celebrities when they say, "If I have offended you."
Well, I mean, the rule of less is more is very true.
It's true, yeah, without question. As Niele mentioned, folks, not all news is good news this morning. Rob Reiner, who uh, segued from starring as the meathead in All in the Family to directing movies, including This Is Spinal Tap, A Few Good Men, and When Harry Met Sally, was found dead Sunday afternoon in his Brentwood home alongside his wife, Michelle Singer. He was 78 years old. The deaths are being investigated as a homicide, according to the LAPD. The couple was reportedly have been stabbed to death in their home. And Don Lemon reported late yesterday that his sources was indicating that the son of Rob Reiner was a person of interest in that. But such a sad story, because initially, Neil, you know, you're thinking, is this anything to do with his political views? You know, he's a huge anti-Trump person and a huge Democrat supporter, and so that's the initial thought. Now, I haven't heard any more about his son, but stabbing tends to be more personal than anything. And just a complete, about Rob Reiner. He was a great director. I mean, Happy Days. He directed some of Happy Days episodes. Yeah, it goes way back. But also in his credits was The Bucket List with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, definitely want to keep his family in prayer. I haven't heard anything about politically related, but there are speculations that his son is a person of interest. We know that his daughter was the one to find both of them. And so it's a developing story. And I'm sure as the hours and days go on, we'll find out more about it. But, that is a headline that's happening and trending, but one that we might not miss. Another death has happened, and I'm talking about Carl Carlton. You might not know the name, but he's the soul and funk singer known for the hits like Everlasting Love and She's a Bad Mama Jamma. Remember that? So he passed away on the 14th, which was yesterday, at the age of 72. His son posted it, and a cause of death is not known, but he was, older and had some ailments. So, one of the Black voices of the 70s and 80s has passed away as well.
Yeah, it's such a horrible thing. This whole idea of you go to sleep and you may not wake up, or you sitting in your home, or however it was with the situation with either Mr. Carlton or Rob Reiner and his wife. It's the state of folks are desperate right now. We don't know like you said, we don't know all the circumstances pertaining to the death of Rob Reiner, but folks are really desperate now. They've lost, a lot of people are just losing it. And we don't know, and we don't know exactly the cause of death for Carl Carlton as well.
Well, no, he was old. He was 72. And he had some ailments.
He did have some ailments.
Okay. Yeah, he did have some ailment. And that's him right now. He's probably singing Bad Mama Jamma, because that was a hit.
Well, that's not a bad Mama Jamma that he's singing to right there. I'm gonna tell you right now.
And I didn't know the song.
Yes, Your Honor.
I didn't know the song Everlasting Love was originally sung by Roberta Flack, but he was the one that made, I kind of remember that, but he was the one that made it the hit that it was.
Yeah.
I heard her voice as I was saying it. I heard her voice singing it.
Yeah, the voice is in your head. We're talking to you. But we gotta lighten it up sometime, folks. I mean, this is all of the horrible news, including this. The manhunt continues into the third day in the deadly mass shooting at Brown University after a person of interest detained in connection with the attacks was released. And here's somebody pointed this out just this morning. New York Post posted a photo with a huge headline about the Brown shooting. And they had a blurred picture of what turned out to be the suspect below another picture of a Black victim. And the way it's posted, it makes it seem like the Black man is the perpetrator, and certainly he is not. So again, irresponsible news, irresponsible coverage. Denise Rolock Barnes told me I should not call them the mainstream media. She calls them the white counterparts down the street, is what she said recently. So, but this is what mainstream does.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. A tragedy, is happening. Like, you had that shooting, and then did you see what happened in New Zealand? In broad daylight at the beach.
Yeah, we're going to get to that as well. But you're right. Yeah,
it's just right. And during this time of year, people are desperate. People are depressed. People are unhappy. And so we just have to, the word grace has been a trending word for the past probably year or two, but we do have to extend grace to people because we just don't know what they're going through. We just don't know what's going through people's mind. I know there was a story from Brown, one of the professors. He was Black, and he was teaching when, I guess, the shooter came into his room, and he just felt like it was going to happen. Like it was it for him. And so it's like the trauma even if you don't get shot and you find yourself in these unknown circumstances, the trauma and the impact that you have afterwards, you're scared to go into public places, always looking around, second guessing, and that's what terrorism is. It's not just the act, it is all the things that go along with it and the aftermath of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point on the Sydney shoot, a father and a son, father 50 years old, the son was, I believe, 24 years old, carried out that shooting. There's a video that circulated yesterday and went viral of the son, the apparent son, while he was shooting a bystander, if you will, took him down, at least took his weapon from him, and you could see from on a bridge what the man who appeared to be his father shooting as well, and shooting toward the individual who took the weapon away from his son. But the father was killed, and ultimately, but all of these individuals, man, it's from all around the U.S. And we'll get back to another shooting that happened momentarily. But it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, definitely have to keep the victims in our prayers, and even those that are impacted by it, because like I said, trauma is not just for the actual victims, but it is all the people that were involved, because they're victims in a sense too. Even if you didn't get shot, if you were there, if you saw somebody get shot, if you were terrified and had to hide under a desk or in a closet, you are a victim as well. And those people have to live with that, those thoughts, those sounds, those nightmares. So just praying for everybody involved. And as we go through the holiday season, if somebody cuts you off, or if something happens in the grocery store, just think of the word grace. And it might be to save your life. That grace might be the grace that saves your life.
And
something that Niele is speaking about in terms of terror. Because it's not just the people that are surrounding it, it's the society as well. If my daughter does not, I'm telling you, I got off the plane last night from Atlanta. I'm used to speaking to my daughter's FaceTime and whatever. She did not call me back, honey. I could not sleep. And when she FaceTime, and then I tell her, I said, listen, if you don't FaceTime me back, I will not go to sleep tonight, right? And so then she finally FaceTimes me and says, yeah, Mom, I have homework. I got homework to do. And I was like, well, where are you? And she's like, oh, she's at her boyfriend's house. And I was like, are you safe? Are you feel comfortable? Because it is because all these things are happening.
And Greer, wasn't that I have homework music to your ears?
Yes, it was. I'm just stressed out because it's the end of the semester and she's got to get homework done. But if I don't hear from her, if she does not call me back, it's not good enough for me to get a text message from her saying, "Oh, hey, Queen," because that's the kind of language she uses. She needs money, okay? Right? Hey, Queen, it's not enough. I need to see her. I need to hear her voice, because then I'll know that she's safe. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, did the landlord come over there? It goes crazy. Did the landlord try to come, try to take advantage of you? I'm thinking stuff like that.
Right.
So it is this terror that Niele was talking about, the terror over our society of this constant violence. Stacy, we were in our group chat. This Rob Reiner gets murdered. He and his wife get murdered. First thing, he spoke out against Trump. You know what I mean? We are terrorized. Our society, we are terrorized.
Right. We are, and Nia, I saw and I can't remember the actor, just yesterday posted what you say all the time about who is the number one terrorist. I saw that yesterday. I don't know if I sent it to you guys or not, because I immediately thought of you.
It's true. It is so true. And as you see these stories come out, 9 chances out of 10, it's a white young male. It's a white old male, and they're traditionally supporters of Donald Trump. They say they have the same ideology of a MAGA voter. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that's just the society we live in, and it's sad that that's who's actually running our government, white terrorists.
Yep. Yep.
And I gotta echo Dr. Marilyn, say I'm the same way with my sons. Okay. I mean, sometimes work. I mean, it's no less with your boys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true. Any of your loved ones, really, at this point, like you said, the terror, the cloud of terror that's hanging over this world is amazing, and
Mhm.
amazing not in a good way.
And
Not
it's
in a good way.
all constructed, curated by white men of power.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike V mentioned PTSD. And that's when you guys are talking about, well, you were talking about others around the situation who may not have been, shot or anything like that. So that PTSD is real. And Mike V also says they are binge watching all of his content, and the algorithm keeps feeding them and feeding them until they take action. It's a lot. Also, speaking of this shooting, Niele, in Brooklyn yesterday, a celebration overnight, Saturday to Sunday, I really should say, turned violent when, and this was a Sweet 16 party too. Six
Mhm.
teenagers were shot at the party or outside the party. The shooters remain at this hour on the run. The NYPD said two unidentified men were outside an event venue. Both individuals displayed firearms and discharged multiple rounds toward a crowd that was gathered outside. And that's from the police commissioner, Jessica Tisch. Surveillance video that was obtained by the local NBC New York station there shows several people running to get away from the gunfire. One neighbor said that he had heard about 20 shots fired, and the neighbor said he and his daughter got on the floor and ducked. The shooting happened at 1 a.m. Sunday morning on Atlantic Avenue and Ashford Street. The victims' ages range between 15 and 17. And again, here's something worth noting, that with the latest shootings and the situation at Brown University, Bill Clinton's assault weapons ban reduced mass shooting deaths by 43%. After George W. Bush and the Republicans allowed it to expire, mass shooting deaths spiked 239%. So again, they talk about this gun reform. When they do some version of it, like Bill Clinton's assault weapons ban, the reduction can be clearly seen in the mass shootings. And then when it expired, 200 they spiked by two. These mass shooting deaths spiked by 239% when George W. Bush allowed the Clinton law to expire.
Yeah, great point.
It's unbelievable that they. I keep saying, and now I'm not even convinced of this, Niele. I have always said that it has to happen to one of them, their loved ones, one of the key folks in Congress, one of the key folks in a cabinet. But I'm not so convinced that that's going to change them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, wow. Oh boy. Well, folks, it doesn't get any better. The root. I love some things on the root. But today they're listing the scary and racist encounters that Black Americans have had with ICE. Yes, ICE is coming for Black people too, with Russell Vought and the Trump clan opening up very, very candidly about their racism. And it shouldn't come as a surprise, Niele.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've known that. We saw what happened in Chicago a couple months ago, where they raided that apartment building and had all the Black people on the ground, and they let the ones go that didn't have a record, but the ones who did, they were still taken into custody, which means that racial profiling is back on the table.
Oh, it's totally. In fact, he did a directive on that. It pretty much brought back racial profiling, and it goes along with what we talked about on Friday with Alfonso David with that new rule that they're trying to push through with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And folks, again, Alfonso mentioned at that point on Friday, we had 5 days to put in comment or to contact the CFPB, whatever, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or your senator, congressman, etc. Now you got 2 days. You got 2 days.
2 days.
Mm.
People power.
That's one of your favorite things. People power. Lady Leo says, Steve Scalise, I'm convinced his last words would have been, "Don't stop the mission." Okay, yeah, probably so. A documentary shows truth about how many domestic violence victims are incarcerated. A new documentary. It's about survivors of domestic violence in New Jersey, and it's being used to advocate for sentencing reform. Set Her Free, exposing the trauma to prison pipelines, follows the lives of several women, many of them Black, formerly and still incarcerated, including its executive producer, Dr. Jamila Davis, who are fighting for the passage of the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act. Davis, who answered questions via email correspondence with the Griot, explained that the film is intentionally designed to sit at the intersection of storytelling and policy. Her goal is that the actions she and the Set Her Free team take in New Jersey can be replicated all over the country. According to a 2023 report from the Safety and Justice Challenge, 75% of women who were or are currently incarcerated have been victims of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that statistic. And yeah, we need reform. We need gun reform. We need prison reform. We need police reform. We need immigration reform. I mean, this country is set to have a lot of reforms, and it's just not going to happen with this current administration. Because one of the things is they are not into detail. They're just into like broad strokes. No trimming, no detail, just broad strokes. And when you hear statistics like this, it's giving you evidence. Like when Benny Thompson was asking the questions to the FBI agents, he was like, well, where's the data? Right. You're just giving this broad statement that this is the number one terrorist group. Where are the details? How many people? Where are they located? There's never any data. And this story that you just, recited, it has data in it. It shows, the statistics as to why this is an issue. This current administration doesn't care about data. They only care about what they want to do and implement. And so, it's important that we still continue to talk about these stories, of course, because truth matters. Mm-hmm. Whether to them it does or doesn't. Truth matters, and this is important.
Well, and we talking domestic violence, and this administration places their policies place very little value on women. So
100%.
Yeah, so you can't expect any real movement toward any meaningful reform when it comes to, of course, Black women being incarcerated, but certainly domestic violence, any real pressure to curtail it in some form.
Yeah. Prison is a bad place. So if any young people are out there watching, don't do any crimes because you don't want to go there. Okay. You see what's happening. Let this be a lesson. Okay. That is not where you want to go. And I'm going to jump into some more headlines. But since we're on the topic of prison, and it was thrown in the chat, a judge has sentenced New Orleans jail escapee Derrick Groves. Remember, he was one of the last escapees. He was on the run for about 5 months. Well, he's been sentenced to 2 life sentences and 100 years in state prison. And this is due because he killed 2 men and injured 2 others when he opened fire on a crowd outside of the 9th Ward home on Mardi Gras Day back in 2018. So some of us might not have known he was dangerous. We thought it was cute. And we was like, oh, he's dressed as a woman. Run, man, run. No, he was a real fugitive. And so he has received 2 life sentences, 100 years, and he's still awaiting sentencing in 2 separate open manslaughter cases against him. So unless he escapes Stacy again, he ain't never seeing the light of day. Okay?
I don't think. Yeah, he's in a bad spot now. He's in a
Yeah.
bad. He ain't going nowhere now.
Yeah. I mean, and we were like, run, Forrest, run. And some people were, but we didn't know. Like, he was very dangerous. Okay. Don't even look him in the eye. Don't look him in the eye. He was dangerous. So he is, yes, 2 life sentences and 100 years. Yeah. And he still has other cases that he hasn't been sentenced to yet. So he's never seen the light of day.
Mike V said 2 life sentences in 100 years. He has to live twice to serve the 3rd sentence.
Okay. He's cooked. Stick a fork in him.
Stick a fork. And Dr. Mellon says they are saying that he killed the family who killed his grandmother. It was the police.
Okay. And that's one of the cases. Okay. He got multiple, you know, so hopefully he'll get him some therapy and you know, figure it out. But it'll be behind bars. Warning alert, let it be known, family. New winter vomiting disease is rising the alarm of health experts. Now, it's reportedly spreads through contaminated food and water, and we know the CDC is not going to tell us none of that. And the new federal monitoring shows the virus has gained traction. So wastewater data tracked by the CDC indicates infections are accelerating nationwide in states like Louisiana, Michigan, and Indiana, and they've seen the steepest rise since October. Now, California, Alabama, Texas, and Florida have each reported cluster localized outbreaks, and public health officials are urging people to stay alert by washing their hands thoroughly and paying attention to make sure you disinfect shared surfaces. So this has to do with food, and then you see all of these stories about how they're handling food, how the Trump administration is rolling back certain safeguards. And so, you know, now we have the vomiting disease to look out for.
One of the worst feelings is vomiting. Goodness grief. I think I've been fortunate. I can't remember, but if my math is right, I think I've vomited like twice since the 90s.
Okay.
What a statistic.
Thank you for that information.
Oh my gosh.
And speaking of vomiting, let's talk about Donald Trump. Somebody who really makes you want to vomit, okay? Donald Trump says sign language interpreters intrude on his ability to control his image. That kook really said that. And so because of that, the Trump admin is being sued, and they are arguing that requiring real-time American Sign Language interpretation of events like White House press briefings would severely intrude on the president's prerogative to control the image he presents to the public. Now, this is a part of a lawsuit by the National Association for Deaf, who is seeking to require the White House to provide the service again.
Unbelievable.
Okay, now the hearing impaired can't even know what's going on in the government because Dumbo, Orange 45, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, grab him by the ball. So grab him by the whatever he said. Somebody needs to grab him by his balls. You know, he don't want the interpreter to violate his image. What a kook.
I just don't have any words. It's come on. This is, folks, this has got to stop.
Okay. All right. That's what's happening. He is messing with the hearing impaired now. The deaf people had to file a lawsuit against the Trump administration just to find out what's happening in our country.
You know, I get the attacks on Black folks. I get the attacks on women. I get the attacks on immigrants because you're racist. But what the attacks on the visually or the hearing impaired, the attacks on the disabled, with and folks with Down syndrome and other things. We've seen him mock people with Tourette's. What's the deal? I didn't think even racist people I mean, don't they have soft spots for the disabled too? And I mean,
They are They remember they are terrorists. They are horrible people. And they live up to it every day. They live up to the worst of what we think of them every day. They live up to it.
Oh man, is that their ancestors' wildest dreams? That's part of their wildest dreams.
That they are the worst. Okay, and they live up to that title every single day. But let's talk about a time and talk about a person who knows what it means to be presidential. And I'm talking about Barack Obama. Now, I don't know, but he's been popping up on our timelines lately all over Chicago as Santa. He was singing You Will Know with black men. I mean, he's just been showing what presidential looks like. Well, the reason why it appears it's because the Obama Foundation has confirmed that the Presidential Center will open in June of 2026 in Jackson Park. And he's excited about it. So the nearly 800 million, 20-acre campus will feature a 225-foot museum tower, an auditorium, a public library, gardens, parkland, and an athletic center. And so, we could look forward to that in June, unless those degenerates that we were just talking about decide to do something, which we know that in a minute, if President Obama keeps stepping outside, something gonna happen. Okay, they go. Donald Trump is gonna say black people can't come outside until July, or he gonna take Juneteenth from us. If it's happening in June, now wouldn't it be something if Barack Obama opened the library, the center on Juneteenth? Wouldn't that be something?
It'd be even something if he opened it on Trump's birthday.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Mike V, by the way, says ableism and racism are close cousins. Okay.
Okay, they relatives. I believe it. And in more headline news, let's head over to Michigan, where the Michigan House has voted to block $8.3 million in funding designed to support students still living with long-term effects from the city's water crisis from 2014. Now, Republican House Speaker Matt Hall called the spending a waste and argued the water emergency is over. Okay, now the money would help pay for psychologists, nurses, social workers, and other essential services for children exposed to the lead. This goes back to what I'm talking about data. They don't care about data. For him to be dismissive, this is what the study found, what the people need. And he's like, oh, it's over. It's over. The water's not contaminated, but the effects still linger, fool.
They know that. They know that. They know that it's no mystery to them. This is just more of just hatred. Because most of those folks in Flint, people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's a shame. They went through it. And in a lot of cases, they're still going through it. Because the word was mentioned earlier about another topic, PTSD. Do you think for a moment that they are, regardless of what they did to renovate, fix, overhaul, do you think for a moment that they are still comfortable drinking the water, still comfortable bathing in the water? No.
Yeah, it lingers in your mind. You know what I'm saying?
That
those thoughts linger in your mind.
Absolutely. I left LA because of the earthquake, not necessarily because of the earthquake, because of all the aftershocks, the Northwest quake in 94. It was the aftershocks. It just stayed and stayed. And every aftershock made you tremble like never before. You had to leave. You were never I was never comfortable. I'll say that. And so you have a situation like this where the water was so contaminated. You remember those people? You had celebrities and other folks bring in cases of water, flying in cases of water to Flint.
Right. Yeah, it was horrible. And for him to say it's over.
Mhm.
No, it's not. It's called the aftermath.
The aftermath.
You know,
Wow.
and so there's a lot of aftermath happening with Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons.
Oh
Okay. I mean, Kimora said something and Russell fired back. So he's pushing back after Kimora Lee Simmons told People magazine she doesn't have a relationship with her father's kids. I don't know what about that set Russell off, but he took that post, he reposted it with this message. He said, I gave you 50,000 a month for 20 years. I was your best and only friend. He said, I'm the godfather to your other three kids until one day you stole my stock. And then he went on to say, I have been fighting for my kids' love and my bread ever since. You threatened that if I sued you, I would never speak to my kids again. He said there are two sides to every story. Now, I even got into it with the millennials and the Gen Z. We going at it on the Jasmine Brown. I woke up this morning, they were still coming after me, telling me I must be old. I said, and you must be young and dumb. Okay, you idiot. She still carries the man's last name. If he was so horrible, she been married twice. Why she still got his last name?
Let me tell you something. This situation is crazy. First of all, let me just say this: the girls that's referenced that Russell says that Kimora is not allowing that for that relationship. They're old enough now. They're in their 20s. They're old enough to say, "Hey, let me. I want a relationship with my dad." They're old enough without being under the mother's influence. It would appear. But the other thing, you're right. Kimora she seemingly has just been, for lack of a better term, just scamming her way to this fame and stuff that Russell provided for her. I'm sorry, she named him the godfather of her kids as well, the kids that she didn't have with him.
Yeah, he
She
said that.
expressed a lot of love for him, a lot of support for him. And this is not just from what I read or what I told. She told me herself over several long conversations how much she adored Russell, how much Russell could, she didn't believe any of these women. She made that clear that she stood by him until that whole stock situation came up, as he
Well, that's what
referenced.
Russell said. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he said. And I think
So,
too, it's a generational conversation that's happening because if you're a Gen Xer and you grew up during that time and you have been in the company of the Simmons when they were together, she was not a victim. And every young girl is not always naive. Okay.
yeah.
And her mother didn't have a problem with it. She didn't have a problem with it. She married him at the age of 23. Okay. Let's just be clear about that. She was a model. So the lifestyle that she was living was an adult lifestyle. So she was one of the ones that grew up kind of fast. But she was okay with that entire lifestyle. And now, so okay, so what? It didn't work out. It didn't work. But don't try to drag him now. Don't try to
Yeah,
drag him now. And the
and this,
daughter was
right, go
just
ahead.
over there for 6 months. She was just
Right.
over there with her dad for 6 months. So the daughter's relationship for him, she needs to just keep his name out her mouth. And I think that's what he was basically saying. Like,
Mhm.
knock it off before I go a little further, homegirl.
Well, it's about the litigation. It's the litigation, and once you get into litigation, things can and oftentimes do get ugly, and that's where this lies. There was another. See, the thing about it is, and I can't speak for her side. I don't know her, so I can't speak really for Russell's side. But um, I will say this: that it's ironic that this was a person who entrusted him with everything until another guy came into the picture and they did something with Russell's stock that Russell termed as they stole it.
Yeah,
And
he's
we're
that's what
talking,
he's saying.
right? We're talking, and if you know anything about this situation, we're talking a couple of $100 million. And so when you're talking that type of money, obviously it's going to be some bad vibes. It's going to be
So
some real bad vibes.
yeah, so what's happening on online is there's a generational conversation because all of these millennials are saying he groomed her. And it's like,
Mm, yeah.
how can I break this down for you? And so when you break it down to a, oh, you're
Mm,
just you don't know what you're no, you are just in Kool-Aid. As we say, you don't know the flavor.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I think Russell's response, you don't even need the devil in the detail. He made it clear. I gave you 50,000 for 20 years. I was your best friend. I'm the godfather of your kids. Okay. And all this changed when you stole my stock. Okay.
but this is
We don't need no devil and no detail. He laid it out with 5 facts. And then he basically said, I'm done. But keep talking. I'm going to tell some more.
But this is another problem, though, Nia, with men, older men, and these young. Now, I agree with you wholeheartedly about the whole grooming thing. I don't believe that in this case
But
with
that
Russell
happens, but
and
not in this
Kimura.
situation.
Right. But what I will say is this: like you said, he married her. She was just 23. These men have this idea that the younger, the better. They need to stop. They need to stop this because this is another example of why somebody that I forget how old Russell was at the time when he married her. He was certainly much older.
He was like 35.
Find somebody 30, 35. These men and this fascination with these young girls, it always comes back somehow to bite them, and it should. I mean, and I'm not saying in this case that Kimura is in any way in the right because from what my knowledge is, she is totally wrong.
Yeah, she's wrong. I mean, and I mean, I hate this. When we were in high school, the older guys would come, I mean, like this is nothing new under the sun. It doesn't apply for everybody, but there
Right,
are times, we used to call somebody like a Kimura Lee Simmons, somebody that's fast, fast girls,
right, right.
they're there, you know what I'm saying? And so this is just a part of the ecosystem. I'm not saying, men should find women their age, but it does happen sometimes. But I'm just saying all the time, women are not the victims. They're just
Yeah.
not. And this is one of those situations to where a real victim will get overlooked for Kimura's bullshit.
Well, there you have it.
So I'm just saying. But let's end on a high note or a fun
I,
note or a mistletoe note. So DC has officially made the Guinness World Record for most couples kissing under the mistletoe. Now
oh,
the
God.
record to
They
break
know
was
each other.
488 kissing couples, and you had to sign up and register to do this. And DC had a total of 1,435 couples strong. And so now DC holds the world record for kissing under the mistletoe.
Oh gosh. What do you think of that public? I mean, whatever.
That's
I
cute.
don't know.
I think it's cute.
It's cute. Okay, you think that's romantic though?
For some, yeah. I mean, what if that's your, anniversary? It depends on what the story is of the couple.
Okay.
Some people could have just signed up. It could have had significant meaning to others. It could have been a first date. It could have been an anniversary. I think it just depends on the story of the couple.
Grit says it's a nice date.
Yeah, it depends on the scenario. I don't know if I would do a mistletoe as a first date. No, let's
Well,
go.
she didn't say first date. She said nice date.
Oh, nice date.
Um,
Yeah, I think it's a
yeah.
nice date too, Greer. I'm just
And Doc,
I think it's cute. I think it's cute.
and that's what Dr. Marilyn said. That's cute. You
No,
got
we need
1,000
some
people
cheer.
jammed
I
under
mean,
this thing.
everything we talked about, why not go kiss under the mistletoe? Put a smile on your face.
Just tell that Michigan coach don't be kissing those little 20-year-olds under the
I mean, oof. But
cost him
all these
$15
bros are
million.
coming to his defense. Shannon Sharp,
And Sharp
talking
came to his
about,
defense.
yeah, he did. No, not,
Oh
yeah,
my!
Shannon Sharp. Yeah, he was talking about he feel for the brother. He
I
knows what
bet
it's
he do.
like.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
knows what it's like to be had for
yeah.
millions and lose his
He
job.
could relate. He could relate, you
Oh
know.
my gosh!
I
You
mean,
gotta be kidding me.
everything gone out the window. But
That's
all I
like
keep seeing is snow bunnies. All I keep seeing is black people posting snow bunnies, snow bunnies, snow. I'm like, damn. let
listen.
let the white women know how you really feel.
Mike B just said it. Black men
See?
not so good. Listen,
No, all I see is snow bunnies.
I have no problem with interracial marriages, none whatsoever. But this in this case, this guy, you keep seeing too many of these folks with these young white girls that they cheating on their wives with. That's where the problem is.
The butter knife, why? I don't get it, Lydia. What is the butter knife? What does that mean, Stacy? The butter knife, why?
Yeah, I thought you knew because I don't. Lydia will tell us though.
Oh
Oh
wait, is
boy.
that what he did? The coach from Michigan, was it a
I,
butter knife he had? Remember,
I
he
thought it
was
was a
threatening to kill himself with the
yeah.
women.
I thought it was a butcher knife, but a
Oh, she
butter knife.
said the butter. I don't know. She said the.
Well, if he is the but
She
he's
said
insane. Oh,
yes.
she said
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, so
see,
he
I
had a
didn't get that
butter.
detail.
Oh my
He's
God.
insane. He's in
That's why
a
his
butter
wife
knife.
told him, "Go on to your mistress and give that butter knife cry to her. I'm not going for the banana in the tailpipe."
See, and the he threatened himself with a butter knife. She is correct, Dr. Mellons. A butter knife.
A butter. That's why the wife
Lock
said,
him up.
Go on to your lover," because then
Lock
he went
him
down the
up.
street to the lover and did the same thing to her. A butter knife. But that's how dumb
Oh
he
my!
thought they were. Okay, that's how stupid he thought they were.
A butter knife. Give me a break. Okay. Yeah. Dude, yeah. Oh yeah, here's one real quick, Miel. Ebro in the morning was canceled. How about that?
Yeah.
Long running morning show.
Yeah, so did Ed Lover and Miss Jones. They were quietly removed as well. But you have Funk Master Flex stepping in for the mornings now in Ebro's pace. So it's interesting, Ebro's take on it. And him saying that they really the parent company doesn't love hip hop, they don't respect black people. But then you have Funk Master Flex stepping in. So
Yeah, listen, that's could be why they use Funk Master Flex because this idea of them not loving hip hop or black folks could be easily debunked with one hire, and that was it, right?
yeah,
Funk
that's
Master
usually
Flex
how it
represents both.
goes. Yeah. But I
Wow.
mean, Ebro is still over at Apple Music. He
Oh,
does that show over there, talking to high profile artists. And they said that they'll be back. And this happens in radio. I remember I was at the beat when Kathy Hughes decided to cut Steve Harvey.
hmm
Before Steve Harvey was syndicated, he was running the morning show here in LA. And people
yeah,
just couldn't believe that. How could you cut Steve Harvey? But sometimes it's a money issue. You know what I
right.
mean? And they want to bring on more talent, but their prize morning show is making too much money. It's a lot of factors that go into it. And sometimes, greater things happen. Steve Harvey was on LA. He left, he licked his wounds, and he came back with a nationally syndicated morning show. And he's still on in LA now at Stevie Wonder's radio station. So things happen. Sometimes we don't understand why, but you
Yeah.
rebound and you come back.
And I don't know how much time we got left, but Dr. Marilyn is asking, do you think Wendy Williams will return to radio or TV? Yeah, because the last I heard, Nia, her conservatorship and all that stuff is supposed to end by the end of the month.
Yeah, that's what her attorney said. Her attorney said that it should end. So we'll see. But I think that we would all like to see a return of Wendy Williams. We would love to hear her take on some of these topics that we're talking about, especially the Diddy. Okay. She would have something to say about Ebro, Funkmaster Flex. She would know. She probably knows what's happening right now. So yeah, we want Wendy's take on all Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. We want to know what she thinks about Meg the Stallion and her man. We want to know what she thinks about Beyonce going to the Brandy concert and not speaking to Brandy. We want to know what she thinks about all of it.
She can probably tell us everything about Ray J and people trying to figure him out. What's going on with him?
Yeah, all of it. The Kardashians,
Oh gosh, I don't want to hear about that.
we want to know all of it. And we want
I
her
don't think
POV.
Yeah, I don't think she could. Let me not say I don't think she could, but I don't think she will do a. If she does anything, I don't think it's going to be a daily thing.
I think weekly would be enough for her, and I think weekly would be good for her because it's like a build up, a roundup of the week's topics, and it doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 30 minutes, because less is more. The less you give, the more you keep the people wanting. So yes, bring Wendy back.
Well, Aquarius says she doesn't care about Wendy. Have you caught, by the way, Suge Knight's, what's the name of his podcast? Collect Calls. Have you caught any of that?
No.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
We're not, we know the story. But
it's funny that he has this podcast from prison. It's just really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a lot of subscribers. Yesterday, or not yesterday, but the latest, he was talking about the Diddy situation, and he talked about Russell Simmons, he talked about Andre Harrell, 50 Cent. This guy, who was I talking to? Talking to somebody, and I was like, Suge was one of the most imposing figures ever, in and out of rap. One of the most important. I'd be afraid of the man. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, I think that this whole Diddy doc, if you believe it, people was afraid of Suge, but you should have been afraid of Diddy. At least you knew what you were getting with Suge. You knew he was a bully. Right. You knew, and if you've ever been in his company, it's very dark and intimidating. It really is. It's like you're looking all around like, what's going to happen? But really, at least you knew what you were getting with Suge. With Diddy, you thought you were getting a good time, and apparently he was a menace. But now, since 50 has opened this Pandora's box, now stuff is coming out about him and Cuban links. This is interesting, though. I want to know the men's take on this. So Cuban links, which is 50's last known girlfriend. There's a story circulating that she's finally talking about why they broke up. And she says that the reason why they broke up is because after maybe a year or two in a relationship, she asked him for $10K and he broke up with her. He's like, I don't give my women money. She said the only thing that he ever gave her was a bad wig.
Why is she asking for money? Did she say?
She didn't say. She didn't say why, but I mean, you're in a relationship with a person for a year or two, and they're a multimillionaire, and you've never asked them for anything, and then for whatever reason, I need $10K, and you break up with me because you don't want to give the money. I mean,
that's what I was getting at. So if it's a hey, I need $10K for whatever. I mean, without even I need. That's the operative word.
Yeah, she asked. She asked for $10K, and for whatever reason, and he broke up with her. She said he left her because she asked for something.
See, that sounds horrible. Just because she asked. I mean, goodness grief, that sounds horrible.
Yeah,
so I think there's an automatic knee-jerk reaction to ask why. People will say, if you're going to give it, is no need to know why. But if you're in a relationship, even if you're not in a relationship, somebody asks you for 10K, the first thing is gonna be like, why? What's up? What's up?
Mm. Michelle Madison said she's not.
Disagree. She's going with Diddy, okay? And he has been what she
Who's
does.
going with Diddy?
Whoever was going with Diddy, and they asked for $10,000.
No, I didn't say Diddy.
Oh,
I
50.
said
We talking about 50.
I said 50 Cent.
Oh, 50. Okay.
Yeah, he broke this. You take that back. The story is that Niele said that he broke up with her because she asked him for 10
for
grand.
10K. That's the story circulating about Cuban Link. She's finally talking about her relationship. She's a young girl too. Now she's very young.
I can believe it.
She's very young, and so that's the story that's going around now about she's giving us a glimpse inside of her relationship with 50 Cent. And so Stacy, Dr. Marilyn says Stacy is so innocent, it's transactional.
Okay,
Stacy, let me say for the record, audience, Stacy is not innocent. Okay, do not let the chocolate skin and the Santa Claus beard fool you. He is not innocent. Okay,
no, I'm just wondering.
Okay, we all know that.
Listen, if my wife asked me for 10K, I'm gonna say.
I know you will give it to her. I know you will.
No, I'm gonna ask her. Well, what's up?
Yeah, but you're gonna still give it to her,
right?
Most likely. But
God help her go after that. After you give it to her, I mean, God help her. But what I want to add to that, if I'm dating somebody for a couple of years and he's wealthy, and I ask for 10,000, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask, oh, what do you need the money for? Right. But I mean, we're talking about men who have wealth, and 50 is, he like that. He won't even give his son no money according to the street.
I know.
So, I mean, 50 is
I mean, and it's just like that. You can only get it if you're with me and in my company, or if we're out on the town, I'll buy the bottles. But like the girl could be struggling to live up to a lifestyle that she didn't put out there and you didn't put out there, and I can't even get the red bottoms that I need as your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, have me live up to what's on your arm.
What's going on? I'll be like, bills.
Right. You coming over. I mean, 50 is a monster too. Okay. Michelle Madison said, I saw the Diddy documentary. I'm in shock. Yeah, I think everybody is in shock from that documentary. But it goes back to your initial statement about Suge. Suge was who he was. Suge is who he is. Diddy was the one that fooled us.
Yeah, I need to hear more about this Cuban young lady.
Oh, now you're gonna go down the Cuban links rabbit hole.
I need to hear more. I mean, he said is such a he is what is he? He's so petty. He is the most petty person out there in Hollywood, probably.
And he leans into it. He loves the title. He leans into the pettiness,
Good.
He leans into it. And he's he's trolling Jay-Z too. And it's just like, is he trying to tell Jay-Z he has something on him? What is that all about? And why? The thing about it is, why are you so mad at these grown men who really, I've never known Jay-Z to even speak on 50.
That's what has been my question all along. Why are you so mad still at, like you said, these grown men? And in Diddy's case,
from Brooklyn, we don't do that. We don't really talk about. We don't do that. But aside from talking about Jay. But anyway, what I want to know is if Chelsea Handler asked 50 for 10K, would he have given it to her?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I believe it. He's that type of Negro.
Oh, okay.
I believe that he would. I really do. But he wouldn't give it to Vivica. But I do believe he would give it to Chelsea. He strikes me as that type of guy.
But isn't there too many of those types? There are a lot. I will say that I think that there are a lot of those types.
And one
And
of the
that's
things,
unfortunate.
though, they say about Jay-Z is Jay-Z didn't want 50 to perform at the Super Bowl show when Dre did it. And Eminem was the one that said, if 50 doesn't perform, then I'm not performing. And so that's how 50 was able to perform at the Super Bowl. So there could be beef between those two. But I mean, like, Jay-Z's not like publicizing it. Like, and you don't rock with everybody, and everybody don't have to rock with everybody, but you can keep it respectful and cordial.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you gotta let's also be clear about, we talking about all of these men. What Jay got, the rest of them don't got, is a wife who's like, we don't put our business in the street. I wish you would. You eating oodles and noodles for the rest of the week. I'm not playing with
those oodles and noodles.
Beyonce, they have never addressed rumors. She just gonna do a record, make some money.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I mean, yeah.
I got a Black History fact if you're interested.
Sure. I have one too that goes with this conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get mine out the way. On this date, folks, in 1934, Maggie Lena Walker, the first woman to organize and serve as president of an American bank, she died on this date in Richmond, Virginia. Maggie was the daughter of two former slaves, and she opened and became president of the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in 1903 to give loans to members of the community. By 1920, the bank helped with the purchase of 600 homes, and by 1924, the renamed Independent Order of St. Luke, a cooperative insurance society that helped its members get proper health insurance, where she was secretary treasurer, had assets of almost $400,000. Think about that, 1920, $400,000. And when the Penny Savings Bank took over the other Black-owned banks in Richmond, it became the Consolidated Bank and Trust Company, and she became the chairman of the board.
I love it. I love that. Bank Black. Bank Black, and she was one of the four founders, four mothers. We say four fathers, but four mothers of that movement. And then we're gonna fast forward to the year of 1992. We were just talking about hip hop and culture. Well, Dr. Dre released his landmark album, The Chronic, which featured Snoop Dogg and defining G-Funk in hip hop. And look at where they are now. Dr. Dre was the first hip hop billionaire, right? Until he got divorced and his wife kind of took him off that trajectory of billionaire status. And then, of course, Snoop Dogg. Look at him now. Snoop Dogg has been named an honorary coach for the Olympics in 2028. The what do you call it? The
Paralympics.
Paralympics. Yeah, he is a honorary coach. Look at Snoop Dogg from Long Beach to worldwide.
Well, it's good to hear about the Paralympics. Of course, the Paralympics are those who the disabled folks in their Olympics, and to have a Snoop Dogg lend his name and talents to that is that's a pretty commendable deed right there. It's like I've talked about Flavor Flav and what he's done with the Olympics as well, with the women's volleyball, and this with what Snoop is doing is really important stuff, and it's a great thing. It really is a great thing.
Yeah, and then even Dr. Dre, with the things he's doing with Jimmy Iovine, Beats by Dre, those headphones that people, just from coming from the streets to where they are now from this one album, thanks to Suge Knight, okay? Big Brutus, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Suge Knight actually played football for the Oakland Raiders for a minute.
Yeah, he was a bodyguard. Who was he a bodyguard for? Somebody you would be so surprised I forgot who he was a bodyguard for. But yeah, Suge has played all positions, but that's how he ended up being, starting Death Row Records and ushered in this whole movement of West Coast hip hop, starting with Dr. Dre.
Wow. Nice. A
So
bodyguard.
listen to the Chronic today. Listen to the Chronic today. I know I am. Puff, puff, pass.
Oh God. Anyway, she wants y'all to listen to the Chronic today. We want y'all to listen to us again tomorrow.
And of course, in between time, check out Black Press USA for the latest in Black news. That's BlackPressUSA.com.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.